What's up, guys? Welcome back to Redline Reactions. I'm Evan, and we are back again, third day in a row, with a little bit of Mission Souls, this amazing family band out of the Philippines. Today, we're going to be looking at their cover of one of my favorite songs from the Offspring, Gone Away. I have no reason to believe that they're not going to just blow me away, so let's just get into it. Iceman getting us started. They're so good. Oh, no keyboard. Okay. I know I've said I'm completely sold on the band before. Now I really mean it. That is a very difficult note to hit, because if you've heard any Offspring song ever, whether it's this one or any of the others, you know Dexter Holland, their lead singer, has a very unique voice, right? It sounds amazing. And also, if you haven't already, go way back in my catalog and look at the Offspring Electric Callboy collaboration. Dexter Holland is 61, and he sounds just like that. I mean, it's amazing. But it's so hard to kind of hit that note like you're supposed to. I'm not saying you have to copy him, but in order to get that note, it does kind of make you sound like him. But if you get it wrong, it sounds so forced and stressed and whiny and annoying that it will ruin the whole thing. That's why I was waiting just to see if and how they were going to do it, and it just sounded great. As I said with Highway Star yesterday, the music sounds identical, which is what you want, right? You want any sort of uniqueness to come with the vocals, right? Because that's what you can kind of play around with. You mess with the music too much, and you force the listener to compare the original versus this one, and that's not fair. That's not what you're going for. But it sounds easy in theory to say like, oh yeah, just copy the music. That's hard. The Offspring, they're professionals. They're some of the biggest in the world, and I can't really find anything missing in this. It's about as good as I've ever heard from anyone. Again, just spectacular. What's funny, I meant to bring it up in actually both of the two videos that I've done, but there are these little moments that you see in that one, not so much in this one. He looked way more like just locked in, but where Isaiah behind the drums, well, usually the only person he could really see in those videos would be the oldest sister Nace's, and you'd just see him. He'd be going, and then he'd look over, and instantly he'd be an 11-year-old again. He'd just be like you're just having the best time, and she would giggle and everything, and then he'd go back to it. That's what it's all about, right? Like, listen, I can heap all the praise in the world on them, and they deserve it, and I'm certainly not the only one praising them, and that's all good and well. But whether it's music, or if you're an athlete and you're playing a sport, or something like that, if you're supposed to have fun, because if you're not having fun, what the hell are you doing, right? And they are having fun, and that's such an important thing that a lot of credit has to go to the parents there, because what the parents have sort of fostered in that household is something that, and listen, we don't need to talk about like why they're actually doing it, but let's be real. They can make a shitload of money, a ton of money. And it would be very easy. I'm not saying that, I'm just saying generally speaking, it would be very easy for parents to be like, oh yeah, we're doing this. This is our thing now. We're going to do this. We're going to make a lot of money. Oh, you don't feel like practicing tonight? Doesn't matter. This is our job now. And it doesn't seem like there's any of that at all, because then you wouldn't see those smiles, right? They're doing this because they love it. They just so happen to be otherworldly with their talent. And I liked, you could kind of see a couple times, Stacey, when she would hit some of those kind of rising notes, you'd see her scrunch her nose a little bit to introduce a little bit of that distortion and that grit in there, which again is very difficult because there's only a little bit in Dexter Holland's voice, but you kind of have to push a little harder. But obviously you can't strain, right? So you have to use some of those vocal techniques to achieve that little gravel at the top of that rising note. But it was phenomenal. It was just phenomenal. I'm so glad I got to do this one. I felt a little bit selfish because there were so many recommendations, and it including this one. But yeah, I was a little selfish today because I love the Offspring. I've been listening to them for almost 30 years now. Oh, that made me feel old. But this is great. It's wholesome, but a lot of times when you hear family band or wholesome music or things like that, it always comes sort of attached, whether it's true or not, of like, okay, well, it's wholesome, that must mean it sucks, or it's not that good, it's not as good as whatever else. That's just not the case here. And that's sort of what's throwing me for a loop, is that like they're kids, but they are making music that grown adults and professionals haven't been able to do. Haven't been able to do that well. And it's just so much fun. It's just so much fun. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, one, please subscribe. A lot of you have been, but I know there's more. I can see the numbers. I can see how many people watch this. I know how many people, are fans of Mission Souls. So hit that subscribe button and then go down to the comments and tell me what you want to see next, right? Because we have a lot of work to do to get through that catalog of covers, all right? Thank you so much again. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a great rest of the day, and I will see you down in the comments. See you later, guys.